Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is the Bayloric TV boxing tour. Well, I said I was going to go on a tour. There's so many people involved in boxing today that are bringing us fantastic interviews, features. And I just want to know a little bit more about who these people are behind the camera, behind the microphone. So the first person who's been putting out a lot of stuff, great content on over Twitter and Facebook and social media is Adam
Noble Forsey from Forsey Sports Media.
That's the one. Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. And there's a slight delay between what I'm saying to you and you hearing that. It's cool. But how's the day been for you?
Day's been okay. I'm trying to get some more interviews. I've hopefully got a manager of a fighter who lost at the weekend, a bit of a clue in a world title fight.
Okay.
So I've hopefully got him coming on later today. I've just put out an exclusive with John Wayne Hibbert, who lost against Dave Ryan. He's just called out Ricky Boylan, so go and check that out if anyone's listening. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Fantastic. So let's find a little bit more about you and how you, first of all, the name of your company or the name of your media outlet. How did that come about?
Well, it kind of started by accident, which is the funny thing. I started a blog about a year and a half ago on Sports Blog, which I'm sure you're aware of, and really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed getting feedback off people about my views and opinions and things about boxing. And then obviously after socialising on social media with people doing a similar thing, they said, "Oh, you should try and get interviews if you want to move forward." So then I linked up with a guy called The Fight Guru. His brand name is, and he's got a website, thefightguru.com. And then I was the editor there, and I was running the YouTube channel there for about 6 months. Sadly, after interviewing loads of world champions, loads of former world champions, managers, stars, getting loads of great exclusive stories, the YouTube channel got shut down because of legal reasons. I'm not gonna go into it, but I didn't nick anything or anything like that. But basically, I had some interviews. I went to Peter Sim's gym and I just interviewed Peter Sims, Tyler Goodjohn, a light middleweight called Ben Hall, who's a pretty decent fighter, and Wally Camacho, and he'd recently come off a biting controversy with fellow cruiserweight Craig Kennedy. So I was getting an exclusive there, and I was having real good fun with it. And the channel had just produced like interviews with Kathy Duver, Antonio Tavia, so kind of like turning a real corner with it. And then it all got shut down. So I don't know if anyone listening is had that happen to them, but it's really bad because some of the work's lost. And I had an interview with Ricky Hatton on there, which I'll never get back, which I didn't save to a hard drive or anything. So that's basically how the channel started. So I had to get those interviews out because I spent a lot of time, and they wanted to get some news out as well. And obviously, I really enjoyed doing it. So Forsey Sports Media was the sports blog before I worked with thefightguru.com, and then I put some interviews out. I took about 3 or 4 months, like a back step, and sort of tried to learn a bit more about the industry, learn a bit more about the sport as well, because I don't know everything about boxing. I've never been a fighter. I know you've had training and things like that, and have been involved in that. So obviously there's a lot of learning you have to do as well. So the last few months, you'll notice, if people look at my channel, you'll notice there's like a 4-month gap. But recently I've been I sort of turned 30 in May, so I was like, now I've turned 30, sort of one of those. So that's basically it really. And at the moment, just trying to get good news out there. I work alongside a couple of really good websites, so the channel's going to start going to events and getting interviews with people. like the high end stuff like Matchroom shows and things like that. So you'll expect to see me there, and just try and help grow the sport a little bit more.
So what's the most common misconception that you get when people meet you or they've seen your videos and they see you in the flesh, for example? What's the first thing people would say to you when they've seen your stuff on YouTube?
Well, I haven't got that many subscribers, so it hasn't happened that often. But in terms of the fighters and the managers and like boxing personnel, people have been really nice. I've been like overwhelmed with how open the fighters have been. Like I'm an absolute no one. I'm starting right at the bottom. I've got, I've got 2 figures of subscribers at the moment. I do okay views considering I've only been going a few months, but it's and fans who listen to it, who support that fighter, they're usually quite grateful. So the response has been mainly positive. Obviously you get, if you say something about one fighter and they're a big fan, you're always going to get that. But the response overall has been positive. And when I've met fighters and trainers in the flesh, it's always been, I've been, very welcome to some quite high profile gyms as well in the past. Right. And yeah, I've been amazed with how open they are.
So what got you into the sport of boxing in the first place?
Me, just watching it as a fan on TV. Like when I was growing up, Eubank, Bruno was massive. They were like my first memories. And then Naz was huge. Absolutely. Like he was great. But then boxing, then like the Lewis fights were really big. I was sort of in my early teens when the Holyfield fights, they were massive. Yeah. And the fight with Mike Tyson, although it was too late, but there was real buzz around that, and everyone got very excited. Like the whole country was watching that. And then boxing took a real dip, in my opinion. I thought it went really bad. I thought Sky monopolised a lot of things. I think they pulled out at a bad time and then jumped back in, and it's kind of, I think. I'll try not to talk out of turn here, but I think the Michael Watson thing, I think that had a big effect on it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember being really young, and even on like GMTV, they were saying ban boxing. So it got like a real bad name. But, even now, like unlicensed boxing is really acceptable. So it's come a long way.
It absolutely has. Who's your favourite commentator in boxing at the moment?
Not Jim Watt.
This is reckless. Adam, you're reckless.
I think Paulie Malignaggi's the best one out there at the moment.
Do you think? I mean, there's a lot of thing around Malignaggi. Do you think it's just the fact that he speaks honestly and openly, and because he speaks honestly and openly, people like him? Do you think it's that? Because a lot of the networks, if you notice them, a lot of the guys seem to talk a lot of stuff that's biased around the fighter that they. He's a great fighter, he's world class. Well, we know he's not real world class. Do you think it's that reason why a lot of people are running around Malignaggi? Although he's articulate.
Yeah, I think. Well, he knows boxing. He knows, and he explains everything he talks about.
Yeah,
and he'll go into depth of why he thinks about that, and he'll give a good argument. I think what you said before brings up an interesting point. I think it's a big problem in journalism that people are biased. I don't think journalism is about having as a journalist, you're sort of not meant to show bias anyway. And like even in mainstream, not even boxing, just like the BBC and things like that, it's biased in loads of different directions. I think Al Jazeera is a really good news channel, actually. That's probably one of the only ones out there that shows every side of the story. But yeah, I think that's why Malignaggi is so good, because he's doing journalism properly.
With so many media outlets out there within boxing, who do you look to, and why do you look to them when you are on YouTube, for example? Why do you look at certain channels, and who do you look at?
Well, I've followed yourself for many years, and IFL TV, because they're consistent and they've built their relationships over years, and they get a bit more out of their interviews with Eddie Hearn are very good. He probably gets more out of Eddie Hearn than anyone else. I like yourself. I like in depth. I like, you know, when I get in, and I don't want to watch a 2 minute video of some fighter just slagging off another fighter, like just a snippet. I don't like a lot of that on. Like, I do go on Fight Hype and ES News and stuff, but I like the more in depth stuff. I was watching. I saw a 35-minute Robert Garcia interview on Ellie Sackbeck's channel, and I was so happy because I was like, yeah, this is what I want to see. You've been building the relationship for years with the Garcias, and it's nice to get a nice, you know, where I want to sit down and watch something. I want my mind to be tested a little bit. I don't want to watch just cheap 2 minute videos. It's very obvious that person's just going for views as well, which obviously we all want views. I'm not going to say I'm going to be happy here with no views. I want to get as many views as possible and get recognised for the work I'm doing. But, you know, I don't want to watch, I just don't want to watch like little 2 minute snippets.
So, okay, I've come up with a theory or a saying of recent times that people have really grabbed onto. What's the difference between a fan with a camera and a boxing journalist being recorded?
Well, you talk about the bias thing,
okay,
straight away. Like, I'm not going to name any names, but there's loads of channels out. There's loads of channels out there. But there's loads of channels. They clearly have a favourite fighter, and like we all have favourite fighters, but yeah, it's just biased as anything. It's more it's like I would never cover Southampton Football Club because I love Southampton Football Club so much, and I just get stupid about it, and I just get ridiculous, and I know I'm like that. So I'd never report on Southampton Football Club because I don't care too much about a fighter. Like, I've met some fighters and I like them, but I'm still going to like them if they win, lose, or draw. Do you know what I mean?
On the Southampton point, you're not going to like me, but I play Football Manager, and I just raid your club of players. Just wanted to put that in.
Yeah,
I just
everyone else does.
I just wanted to say that, but go on, carry
on. But yeah, it's just that's the difference between a fan with a camera and someone who's actually trying to do some real journalism.
So okay, why does the fan with a camera get huge views, and the guy that's really trying to put in the effort gets kind of sometimes slammed for it? Explain that to me.
I don't know. There's some fickle people out there, I suppose. I don't really know. That's a really hard question to answer because, you know, that's a really tough question. It's I don't know. You know, some of them. I think it's more in America, the fans with the camera. I think the UK audience seems to more go. You know, there's not much over here. There's a few little ones that go to the events, but it's mainly IFL TV. Seconds Out have lost a lot of credibility over the last couple of years.
Why do you think that is, though? With Seconds Out?
I don't know. I do know a couple of people who used to work for them, and you know they're doing other things. And I don't know. It must be a backroom thing. Might be a views thing. I don't know. My opinion is it's a group of people. Seconds Out, whereas Bayloric, my opinion is it's you make the decisions. Like, at the moment, I work alongside a couple of websites who help promote my work and vice versa.
Yeah.
But yeah, I make the final decision. So that, you know, that probably plays a role as well. Like any business that's independent,
okay,
it's going to make its own decisions. But when it's floated on the stock market, anything like that, it's usually sad fact of life.
But it is. It is the way that it is. So when you look out there in the boxing world today and you see a lot of, let's say, trolls and people making silly statements and making ludicrous things, and these are people, let's not forget, that get lots of views. Oh, these are people that 1 minute are saying Deontay Wilder's the best thing since sliced bread. He gets wobbled, and then they say, he's crap, he'll get knocked out the next person he fights. Where does the line draw in terms of credibility and when we take people seriously in the sport?
Well, like there's a lot of channels out there, and I heard you listing, and I hadn't watched most of them. To be honest, I'm doing quite a lot of work trying to do some research about the fighter, and I'm still learning about the sport, so that takes a lot of time. Like watching, there's loads of great fighters to watch out there. But you know, anyone that has just a simplistic view towards anything. It's not. It's not really. It's not really worth. You know, I just personally won't even go anywhere near it. Like Mayweather Pacquiao, like that was a bandwagon. Like I was thinking that's sort of why I stepped away, because I didn't want to do any Mayweather Pacquiao and just chuck a Mayweather video out there just to get some views. It's just not the way. That's sort of why I've got into it, because I don't like things like Sky, how we were talking off air about it. Like I don't like corruption. You know, corruption involved in everything.
You're in the wrong sport, mate. Don't watch sport, period. Because in that case, then FIFA's going to disappoint you, boxing's going to disappoint you, cricket's going to disappoint you, athletics going to disappoint you, corruption, period. I think we're just corrupt people, full stop. I've lost all faith in people.
Nature.
We're all corrupt.
Human nature.
Oh, dear. So, when you get an interview, or when you go about having to interview somebody, what goes through your mind? What's the process for you?
Well, because I've just started out, I kind of have to, like, there's no point in me. For instance, I like to try and find good young fighters that I know have a big following, and I know that sell out. Like Lloyd Ellett, for example, he's Brighton. You from Brighton yourself. Okay. He's been selling out shows in Brighton for ages. He hasn't really fought anyone. I think he's 17-0. I think his fight's been moved to York Hall, a recent one coming up. But I published that and I fell asleep. I hadn't pushed it through Twitter or anything. And the guy had over 350 views and I hadn't even done anything. So things like that, like sometimes you get a little bit lucky. Like I went to interview Joseph Parker, didn't do as well as I expected, to be honest, but he's quite topical at the moment. So people are, try and find things that the bigger people aren't doing almost in some ways. So yeah, it's tough, but a bit as well. I'll kind of interview most people who are involved in professional boxing. I'd be more than happy to interview them because, I need all the help I can get because I'm just starting out. So that comes into it as well.
What would be what's your vision? What's your for 4C? What is what okay, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, what would you like to see from 4C Sports Media?
I'd like to be in the top 3 of covering boxing from top to bottom.
Right.
In the country.
Wow.
I'd like to. So, I'm not big-headed, but I really enjoy it. And having worked in a sales environment most of my life and things like that, it gets middle managers. We all know what they're like. It's a bad existence. Yeah. And sort of, what's the best way to put this? Yeah, I just, look at my channel, like. You said on your show the other night, how are you getting these names? I just hit the phones, I just hit the phones and speak to people. And so I've done that as a job for selling many different things. But yeah, I just do that basically.
I can see something now. You've done a hell of a lot of interviews, and I give you all the credit in the world for doing that. And people don't realise how difficult it is to do interviews. They really don't understand.
Yeah.
They think, oh, just get an interview with him. Get an interview with him. Get an interview with him. Go on, mate. Get an interview with him. Sometimes there are some people like, I don't want to interview him. I don't want to talk to him. I really don't want to talk to him, because it's almost like you are, in some ways you're doing something to please the fans. The fans want to know more about a fighter. But there's some fighters I'm like, I'm not interviewing this guy. I'm not, because you can pick the ignorance up before you even get to pick up a phone to them. And it's like absolute ignorance. Or some fighters that you try and reach out to them, and like there's one fighter in particular, there's a couple of fighters in particular, that I left a message on their Facebook page from 2013. 2015, they're getting back to you and saying, about that interview. I'm like, oh, right. So what changed between 2013 to 2015?
Really?
You know what I mean?
Really?
It's like crazy like that. And they're like, and this is just being honest, and I'm kind of open like honest like this. You know, you watch some of these guys with this sort of behaviour, and then you watch them in a fight, and you see them get knocked out, and you think to yourself, yeah, that's about that's just about right. And you sort of would say, yeah, you're kind of nasty for saying that, Ingram, but deep down, I think there are some people that think that way anyway. You know, because
Of course.
it's like, you know what, I'm doing something here that you know that I want to get to know who you are as an individual. You know, and you complain about not getting the right, you know, exposure. So then one of the targets when I'm doing interviews is to ensure that the person I'm talking to can get the best, say the best things that they can say what's on their heart, not censor it, not make them look in a bad light. So, and then you're trying to do that for that person, and that person is turned around and kind of disrespecting you in a sense. It's like, oh, you know what? Fair enough, fine. So
Have any fighters blocked you because you've interviewed a fighter that's said badly about the fighter they're talking about?
Look,
in an interview. I'm not going to say any names, but
I've had situations where certain fighters have spoken to certain fighters, and I've interviewed one fighter and interviewed another fighter, and they've ended up fighting. Let's put it this way.
Oh, cool. That's pretty cool.
So quite a few times this has happened, or you know, so. We can talk about when you interview me. Yeah, but back to you now. Let's talk about you, because you fascinate me. I mean, you know, you've been around, what, 2-3 years, you're saying, in terms of your own business, right?
No, not even that long. Just over a year.
A year? Wow, look at the amount. You've knocked out. It's incredible.
Well, there were the FightGuru.com, the YouTube page we had, I must have done well over 120 interviews on there. Like the qualities, no, like, I'm still learning. I'm not like the messiah of doing interviews. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm still learning every day. Like pretty much most of my interviews, when I listen back, I'm like, I should have asked that. I should have asked that.
It's always the way.
You live and learn, don't you? And umming quite a lot.
Yeah, I do too. And people say, don't.
That's my head in.
So what I'm trying to do is style it out, trying to go, well, you know, he's still umming.
It's experience.
So can you make it a no? But if you watch some of these footballers, they like. I remember Beckham. There was a time he was going, and they make it sound fashionable. That is correct way of speaking. It isn't. Is like, no. If you've got nothing to say, if you've got nothing to say nothing. But if you don't and sometimes there's that silence. So I understand the and as well. Okay, what's your thoughts on catch weight?
Oh, talking a lot about it recently. I think if I worry about the belts. I think they're going to be extinct in a few years because it's just not. It's just a bit stupid, isn't it, really? Like, I understand the big fights, like the Canelo Mayweather, that sort of one that was, you know, everyone wanted to see it, and it was kind of a little bit fair. But the Gil thing was ridiculous. But what was Gil doing there? Gil's like turning up to the press conference, looked like he's about to cry, saying, I feel drained. It was like, well, I can't wait for this whooping. Like, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
But I didn't say £160 and you come down and be like, what was he looking to achieve? I didn't know what he was looking to achieve. You know, at £160,
that's it.
I'd love to have seen the fight £160 plus against Cotto. I really would love to have seen that fight.
Yeah, you probably get beaten out. He'd get bullied. He'd get bullied at that weight, probably.
I know. The debate about Miguel Cotto, for me personally, has lost all my respect as a, you know, he's a great fighter. Welterweight and questionable at like middleweight, and at middleweight, forget it.
Well, imagine Lemieux going at him. Do you know what I mean?
Imagine someone like Marvin Hagler going at him.
I'm
just talking middleweights here, like bona fide middleweights. Nigel Benn, Miguel Cotto. Just think it out a second. Joe McLennan, Miguel Cotto. That's a proper middleweight.
Like, how tall is Miguel Cotto? 5'8"?
Is he? I would say he looks more like that. My 5'6".
5'6".
He might be 5'7". He doesn't look five. He might be 5'8", but he looks very small.
At max,
Yeah,
he's
at
5'8".
max, probably.
Yeah, he's no business being there. He's no business being there. And the Martinez fight.
Well, Martinez, he may as well have just come out in a wheelchair. I mean, to be
Yeah,
honest.
do you know what I mean? He just brushed him, fell over. There was no like concussive knocking him out. He couldn't stand up, like literally, because his legs were done.
Yeah, exactly. And you can imagine what would a fit, healthy, the Martinez that knocked out Paul Williams, what would he have done with Cotto on that night?
It would have been a lot closer. It probably would have been, it wouldn't have been a foregone conclusion by any means. But you're expecting a Martinez win.
Absolutely. So, in the social media world, who else do you look out in terms of, other channels that you watch that you find?
What? Who I'm a fan of?
Yeah.
Who do I like? So I like ES News. Mm-hmm. I like yourselves, like IFL. Mm-hmm. So there's one that's stopped doing. They just show live fights now, but there used to be a really good one. British Boxers. Yeah. They have a website as well. That used to be really big. But the guy from that I've seen on Seconds Out. Right, so that was really good. So if he's listening, get that cracking again. I used to really enjoy watching that. Okay. What else do I like? There's a few I sort of dip in and out of, like Dante's Boxing Nation, Fight Hype, and things like that.
What about Dwyer? Dwyer seems to be getting a lot of people seem to like the Godfather of boxing. They call him. What's your thoughts on Dwyer?
Yeah.
What happened? I know what it is. You don't want to pay for that subscription, right? You don't want to pay for the subscription.
Is that what he's doing? I haven't watched him for that.
Yeah, well, if you want certain bets, you got to pay for the subscription.
And donating Bitcoin and all that.
You can't knock the man for that. I mean,
is he still Andre Ward's lawyer?
I don't know. Was he Andre Ward's lawyer?
Yeah, he was Andre Ward's lawyer.
I don't know. Well, if he is, then fine. Good luck to him.
If you're a lawyer, you should be on YouTube asking for donations. Something don't add up.
So, okay, what's wrong with Dwyer? What is it about Dwyer that he doesn't do it for you? I'm surprised because everyone's worships him.
The other thing, Andre Ward's. I can hear my echoes kind of distracting me a little bit. Andre Ward's big court case, which he kept losing. Richard Dwyer was in charge of that, wasn't he? So, it's quite a big thing. So I actually wrote an article about it many years ago, but he kept telling it. Like, if you look at, I'm not going to go into it too much, but if you look at the Andre Ward case with Goosen in any depth, like the legal advice he must have been having was not very good. And I'm kind of a Andre Ward fan as well. So, but yeah, no, I'm not keen on Dwyer. I've said it now.
There's an exclusive right there, eh? With 4C Sports Media, there's an exclusive right there. Oh, great! You're gonna. People are gonna love you. But you want views? You're gonna get views now, mate. I don't like Dwyer.
Yeah, shut down channel.
Yeah, question to ask you. Well, I've got a nice tag now for our interview, but what when you're tagging your videos, do you tag it for sensationalism or do you tag it for just information?
Depends what it is. Like John Wayne Hibbert, I interviewed him yesterday, and he came off a loss to Dave Ryan. It was a great fight. I'm a big fan of John Wayne Hibbert as a fighter, actually. I think I like his story. He was sort of fighting in small halls, and then now he's fighting at the O2 on these big fights, and he's really not scared of losing. There's a lot of these guys fighting at national level, especially in light welterweight. They're all sitting pretty up for it, which I like to see. A lot of 50-50 fights, maybe not at world class level, but still very entertaining. And he called out Ricky Boylan, so yeah, I just put that out there, and yeah, I'm trying to go for shock on a small kind of level. But yeah, sometimes I do, because I want to get people to watch the video and see what the interview's really about, and show that I'm actually trying to have quite a good conversation with someone. Like Jonathan Banks' interview, I put the title was Tyson Fury has a big mouth, but if you actually listen to the interview, Jonathan Banks praising Tyson Fury for most of the interview. So yeah, sometimes you want to kind of advertising, isn't it? You want to try and get people to come and have a look.
it's weird because I'm going to end this interview now with you, or this discussion with you, with 3 names. And they're all in the Sky panel. Carl
Okay.
Froch,
Yeah.
Tony Bellew, and Paul Smith. I think we'll start with Paul Smith because obviously he's the first person. Because we won't be seeing him on Sky too often at the moment because of what happened with him with Ward. He's got a broken nose, I believe, now, and you know, he got badly beaten up. The great thing is, I think Andre Ward gave him back his money because he was overweight. Ward gave him back his money, which was quite a nice
he did.
touch.
That's what I heard.
A nice touch. Paul Smith, what happens with him now? I mean, he's an analyst for Sky, British champion, hasn't quite made it at world level. What happens with him as an analyst, and what happens with him as a boxer?
I don't know. I think he'll do he might do like what Macklin did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might because he's kind of similar position, a sort of few months removed. I don't think Paul Smith. Like, I don't know Paul Smith. I never met him, but I don't think Paul Smith will want to go out like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Turning up overweight to a fight, you know, just he wasn't in the fight at all. Like,
there were people who actually gave him a chance.
Yeah, well, yes.
So you think he'll come back as a pundit, right?
Yeah, he'll come back as a pundit. I think you might see one more fight from him.
Okay.
It depends how the Rocky Fielding Vera thing plans out and how the Callum Smith and all that works out. If there's a good domestic, good money fight for him, I think he'll do it. Yeah.
Okay. Next, Tony Bellew, pundit, boxer. Thoughts?
Boxer. He looks better at cruiser. He looked. I thought it was. I don't think we saw the best Tony Bellew against Cleverly because I think he just tried to go in too heavy.
Yeah.
I think it kind of made him a bit sluggish. But yeah, he's got a chance. It's an unpredictable division, cruiserweight division. So he has got a chance. He's got a puncher's chance, which is what the cruiserweight division's all about, really. So yeah, but Sky seems to give all their fighters a little punditry deal. He's quite a good character. Yes. So yeah, I quite like him on there, to be honest. I enjoyed your interview with him. I think he gets a little bit dramatic sometimes. But you know, he's a fighter, so I don't know what that's like. So, but yeah, I like Bellew.
And of course, we'll close with the man that chops trees and does lots of swimming. And did you know he fought 80,000 people at Wembley? Carl Froch.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, I only heard that today, actually. Did you know that?
Yeah, I've heard it going around on social media.
So Carl Froch, I believe there's something in the pipeline about him fighting Gennady Golovkin. Really?
I don't know. He needs to. I'd like him to make his mind up. Like it was over a year ago now since.
He needs to retire. He really needs to retire because he's a year out. He's going to come back. He's 38. Why does he think he's Sugar Ray Leonard?
Yeah, I think he should. I think he should retire. Like he's been wicked as well, Froch. Like as a British boxing fan, he's been in some wicked fights, and he never dodged a fight. But now, yeah, I don't think it's there. Like if he wanted to fight, he would have had a fight. There's super middleweight. There's loads of fights out there. So hopefully he walks away. I don't rate him much as a pundit. So he's obviously a little bit worried about that job. So that's probably why he's thinking about Golovkin still, maybe.
I mean, where does he stand as a pundit for you? Because I just find he always seems to talk about himself rather than give the fans kind of like what they should be hearing. Like you'll say, well, in my fight and in my career, and then when I did, and he says, and then he's got the nerve. And I mean, once he was commentating about somebody, and he went, "Oh well, he's easy to hit," and I'm thinking, what a cheek, what a bloody cheek! You're easy to hit. You're not exactly a defensive wizard, and you're sitting down in the studio with your suit and tie on, telling other people that they're easy to hit. I'm thinking, look at this man, unbelievable.
He's a bit cringe, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, if
I think he does it on purpose. I think he does it to bring in the views. I think he actually brings the views in, Froch.
Yeah, I think he might just have a really weird sense of humour, which no one else finds very funny. I think that might. That might be his issue. But yeah, like, I'd love to see him fight. I'd like, to be honest, I'd love to see that, him and Golovkin, even if just because it'd be a good occasion. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be really cool. But
Good occasion for who?
yeah. For boxing fans,
Not for him.
uh, no, I'd never underestimate him. I'd never completely rule out Froch because I think he's not that great a boxer. He's got by on being very hard,
Yes.
very very hard, and that's that's his best weapon.
But do you really want to see him at Wembley? Like, the event, if that happened, do you really want to see him end his career, his career being ended by Gennady Golovkin? Do you really want that? If Gennady does move up and he does carry the power at super middleweight, I mean,
Yeah.
Froch has never knocked anybody apart from George Groves out, and George hasn't got the greatest of jawbones, right? With all due respect.
Yeah, of course.
He's never knocked anybody out of world class. I mean, Jermaine Taylor was absolutely exhausted. Bute had chin problems. I'm not knocking Froch's career.
Yeah.
But he's not knocked anybody out of world class. I'm thinking to myself, if Gennady moves up and Gennady is able to absorb a shot and he hits hard, and because he's maybe drained himself to make middleweight and he comes up to super middleweight, I just wonder to myself, what happens if he does connect and he does hurt Froch and he does drop Froch and he keeps him there? Do you want your legacy to be known as the guy that got beaten by the middleweight that moved up and got knocked out by Gennady Golovkin? Do you really want your career to be ended like that?
Yeah, I've heard as well I've heard he trains he needs injections to train as well. So,
Who's that?
Froch. So,
It's interesting.
so that's not great, is it?
No, it isn't.
So maybe he's like trying to save himself. So I don't know. But yeah, to be honest, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it as a
Of
boxer.
course, we want to watch it as a fantasy fight, but
He's not worried about losing though, Froch. He's not. I don't think Froch is the sort of person who's scared of being knocked out.
I think he is that. I think he's one of those guys who prides himself on not being knocked out. He sits there because I don't think Froch would be the same character if he'd been knocked out. I don't think he'd talk with sort of brashness and stand there with all the bravado. If he'd been sparked, if he gets sparked around, I don't think you'd see Froch moving around the same way. I really don't. I think he'd be a different character. I really do.
Yeah, maybe.
But the fact that he hasn't been knocked out, the fact he hasn't been chinned, as they say, and he's taken the best and never been knocked out, it gives him a sort of platform that he can say, I ain't been knocked out. I may have been dropped, but, I'm still there. And what about him and the straightener with Kawasaki on the corners?
It's a bit childish, isn't it? Yeah, I saw that interview. Yeah, that's a bit weird. I think that's just trying to gain a little bit of gain some views. I don't think that's. Are they actually going to do that? Have a scrap in a car park?
I'd watch it. I'd watch that faster than Gennady Golovkin.
But yeah, that's all a bit. Yeah, some of it is just a bit cringe sometimes. It is. It's like, come on, that's the sort of thing you said when you were like 11 on the playground. Do you know what I mean?
But the cobblers. Who talks about the cobblers though? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't talk about the cobblers, do you?
It's not 1940 or something. Oh, cobblers, it's pavements. Get with the times.
Adam, thank you so much for talking to Baylor.
Thank you, mate.
Really appreciate
brilliant.
it. How do people contact you if they want to talk to you, or they want to reach out to you, or they want to be interviewed by you?
You can go follow me on Twitter at Adam4, the number 4, C Sports, or Facebook, Adam Noble Forsey. I'm the only Adam Noble Forsey in the world. I'm the only person with that name. So you can get me on Facebook. And yeah, you can get me on there. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back. If you want to chat, if you're a young fighter, you want an interview, got an interesting story, yeah, give me a shout.
Or if you're Dwyer and you want to have a chat.
Dwyer, yeah, come on.
Adam, thank you so much for talking to Baylor TV.
Thank you very much, mate. Cheers, Ingram.